Jai Sri Ram. Very warm greetings to all you dear viewers. Myself Ramchandra Shirke and I welcome you to my YouTube channel Profound Delving. Jawaharlal Nehru, 14th November 1889 to 27th May 1964, was an Indian anti-colonial nationalist, secular humanist, social democrat and author who was a central figure in India during the middle of the 20th century. Nehru was a principal leader of the Indian nationalist movement in the 1930s and 1940s. Upon India's independence in 1947, he served as the country's first Prime Minister for 16 years. Nehru promoted parliamentary democracy, secularism, and science and technology during the 1950s, powerfully influencing India's arc as a modern nation. In international affairs, he steered India clear of the two blocs of the Cold War. A well-regarded author, his books written in prison, such as Letters from a Father to His Daughter, 1929, An Autobiography, 1936, and The Discovery of India, 1946, have been read around the world. The honorific Pandit has been commonly applied before his name. The son of Motilal Nehru, a prominent lawyer and Indian nationalist, Jawaharlal Nehru was educated in England at Harrow School and Trinity College, Cambridge, and trained in the law at the Inner Temple. He became a barrister, returned to India, enrolled at the Allahabad High Court, and gradually began to take an interest in national politics, which eventually became a full-time occupation. He joined the Indian National Congress, rose to become the leader of a progressive faction during the 1920s and eventually of the Congress, receiving the support of Mahatma Gandhi, who was to designate Nehru as his political heir. As Congress president in 1929, Nehru called for complete independence from the British Raj. Nehru and the Congress dominated Indian politics during the 1930s. Nehru promoted the idea of the secular nation-state in the 1937 Indian provincial elections, allowing the Congress to sweep the elections and to form governments in several provinces. In September 1939, the Congress ministries resigned to protest Viceroy Lord Linlithgow's decision to join the war without consulting them. After the All India Congress Committee's Quit India resolution of 8 August 1942, senior Congress leaders were imprisoned and for a time the organization was suppressed. Nehru, who had reluctantly heeded Gandhi's call for immediate independence and had desired instead to support the Allied war effort during World War II, came out of a lengthy prison term to a much altered political landscape. The Muslim League under Muhammad Ali Jinnah had come to dominate Muslim politics in the interim. In the 1946 provincial elections, Congress won the elections, but the League won all the seats reserved for Muslims, which the British interpreted to be a clear mandate for Pakistan in some form. Nehru became the interim Prime Minister of India in September 1946, with the League joining his government with some hesitancy in October 1946. Upon India's independence on 15th August 1947, Nehru gave a critically acclaimed speech, Traced with Destiny. He was sworn in as the Dominion of India's Prime Minister and raised the Indian flag at the Red Fort in Delhi. On 26 January 1950, when India became a republic within the Commonwealth of Nations, Nehru became the Republic of India's first Prime Minister. He embarked on an ambitious program of economic, social, and political reforms. Nehru promoted a pluralistic multi-party democracy. In foreign affairs, he played a leading role in establishing the Non-Aligned Movement, a group of nations that did not seek membership in the two main ideological blocs of the Cold War. Under Nehru's leadership, the Congress emerged as a catch-all party dominating national and state-level politics and winning elections in 1951, 1957, and 1962. His premiership, spanning 16 years and 286 days, which is to date the longest in India, ended with his death in 1964 from a heart attack. Hailed as the architect of modern India, his birthday is celebrated as Children's Day in India. Assassination attempts and security. There were several assassination attempts on Nehru. The first attempt was made during partition in 1947 while he was visiting the northwest frontier province, now in Pakistan, in a car. Second attempt came from a knife-wielding rickshaw puller near Nagpur in 1955. Third attempt was a plot in 1955. The fourth attempt took place in Bombay in 1956, and the fifth was a failed bombing attempt on train tracks in Maharashtra in 1961. Despite threats to his life, Nehru despised having too much security around him and did not like to disrupt traffic because of his movements. Death. Nehru's health began declining steadily in 1962. In the spring of 1962, he was affected with a viral infection over which he spent most of April in bed. In the next year, through 1963, he spent months recuperating in Kashmir. Some writers attribute this dramatic decline to his surprise and chagrin over the Sino-Indian War, which he perceived as a betrayal of trust. Upon his return from Dehradun on 26 May 1964, he was feeling quite comfortable and went to bed at about 11:30 p.m. as usual. He had a restful night until about 6:30 in the morning. Soon after he returned from the bathroom, Nehru complained of pain in the back. He spoke to the doctors who attended to him for a brief while, and almost immediately he collapsed. He remained unconscious until he died at 1:44 p.m. His death was announced in the Lok Sabha at 2:00 p.m. local time on 27th May 1964. The cause of death was believed to be a heart attack. Draped in the Indian national tricolour flag, the body of Jawaharlal Nehru was placed for public viewing. Raghupati Raghav Rajaram was chanted as the body was placed on the platform. On 28th May, Nehru was cremated in accordance with Hindu rites at the Shantivan on the banks of the Yamuna, witnessed by 1.5 million mourners who had flocked into the streets of Delhi and the cremation grounds. Nehru's death left India with no clear political heir to his leadership. Lal Bahadur Shastri later succeeded Nehru as the Prime Minister. The death was announced to the Indian Parliament in words similar to Nehru's own at the time of Gandhi's assassination. The light is out. India's future Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee famously delivered Nehru an acclaimed eulogy. He hailed Nehru as Bharat Mata's favorite prince and likened him to the Hindu god Rama.